Hey, what's up? This is your girl, I'm in. Today, I am going to talk about this Monique versus trans people. Monique on Club Shay. I'm going to talk about language. I'm going to talk about culture and how we respond to culture. That is the subject of today. I go live every Friday, sometimes on Thursdays at 7. I'm a little late today because I was at a Cornell West event, which was quite nice. I enjoyed it. Um, but yes, I had to come late. Hey, Jay. And yes, I wanted to talk about this because this moment of Monique being on Club Shay Shay is going viral. Hey, Ty. And I want to talk about it. But before we get started, let me know how y'all doing. How is y'all week going? My week is going pretty good. I have some great news. Our podcast, Marsha's Plate, is finally, I've been searching for a while. We are finally fiscally sponsored. Yay! So, what that means is that puts us in a position to kind of solicit funding for projects and take our platform to the next level. Um, I want to do a film, so there's some film stuff that I want to do. I want to do another film. I've already done a film called Intentionally Erased with a which is a collaboration between me and um, A Call to Men, directed by Keemia Motley. So check that out if y'all can. We will be going to Atlanta, Houston, and San Francisco to for the last hurrah, the last showing of it. So yeah, so that was my first film. I want to do one where it's specifically mine and not in partnership, specifically mine. So this will allow me to use Marsha's Plate as the conduit to do the big things that I have planned to do in regards to bringing content to from a Black, trans, Southern, Midwestern perspective. And I am so excited. Ah! So, yeah, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. Um, and just to give y'all an idea, so if you don't listen to the show, so I know everybody's not into podcasting and listening. Some people listen to me here. Some people follow me on Instagram. Some people follow me on TikTok. Some people vehemently follow the podcast. But what I have done and what I am trying to do and what my vision and what my purpose is in regards to the work that I do online is I want to kind of create an archive of trans thought, trans discussion, trans leadership. That's why, yes, you usually see me on here talking, but I also bring other people on my platform so you can learn what's going on with them and learn other trans leaders who are in the work or who are out here making moves. And I like to celebrate LGBT people. So I have a focus on trans people, but as y'all know, if you've been here for a while, you know that I bring on people that are not trans, people that are queer, people that are allies, people that are, I think, politically aligned with the trans narrative and bring something to the cultural discourse that I think is powerful. That's what I bring to the table. And I want to use whatever platform that I'm on to be able to archive that so that 50 years from now, if we are not all dead from climate change, 50 to 100 years or whatever, until Mother Earth said, let me reset y'all hoes. Whoever is alive during that time when I'm dead and gone, they can have a trans specific archive of trans people, talking about current issues that we got going on. And so, because I know me, and I don't know if you, I love history. I love learning about new stuff when it comes to blackness, transness, womanhood, um, all those things. And there's, if you go in archives, when it comes to trans people, I mean, the oldest one that I know goes back to 1870. That's Francis Thompson. Um, and there's a couple between that and, probably like the 60s when um competition my words, Compton cafeteria riots, Stonewall, that kind of uprising that Black people inspired by everybody. Everybody was inspired. Black queer people were inspiring all these kind of uprising and this kind of intersectional thought that was inspiring people, everybody around them. So the sexual revolution, the feminist revolution, the Black revolution, all was kind of spearing up all at one time in the 60s. So you start to hear these names, even though, it was kind of still erased from the 60s all the way up into the 80s and 70s, until this renaissance that we have been living through this past 10 years. You go back far enough and there's just not enough people who care about our stories enough to actually document them. So what we usually find from back in the day is like different clippings and from the perspective of some journalists are trying to be sensational and that kind of stuff. And so it's really, really hard for trans historians like me to go back and look for things because some people don't even they weren't even where we weren't in the consciousness, even though we existed, we weren't in the consciousness to know that we will be in the space that we are right now. And so they weren't thinking about archiving our stories. And so I don't like that. And so since when you know better, you do better. And I want to make sure that 50 to 100 years from now, some trans teen or trans 20-year-old or trans 30-year-old who is discovering themselves and wanting to dive deep into their history, I want them to be able to find us. I want them to be able to find what we thought about things, the non-monolithic way we think about things, the nuances. I want them to know about the trans girls that thinks that you're not really trans if you don't get a sex change. I want them to know this new non-binary element that has come into the national discourse about trans people. I don't want them to just know the people who are on TV. I don't want them to just know the people who are privileged, because we know people that get the gatekeeping that happens, the people who get on TV, there's that's kind of skewed towards a certain direction, skewed towards a certain respectability. Do you see what I'm saying? So I want to be able to showcase, and I know my archive is going to be skewed towards me, towards who I think is important, but I try to be as non-biased um and open to people with different perspectives as I can. Now, one caveat is it's not you can disagree with me, but I'm not gonna let you skew anti-trans rhetoric on my platform. I'm not gonna do that. So we can have a different opinion. We can go our strategy about getting to liberation can be different. But if what you're saying is rooted in destroying my community or talking bad about my community or looking down on my community or scamming my community or whatever that I deem negative, I'm not bringing you on my platform. And there's some people who may be movers and shakers in the world that are trans, but if I know behind the scenes that they scammers, which there's a lot of girls and trans men and trans women and men and non-binary folks that are scammers. Look, they don't come on here. I just don't do that, and so it's going to be skewed towards my experience of them, not skewed towards they have to agree with me. Does that make sense? They don't have to. They don't have to agree with me, but we do have to agree that we need to be liberated. Now, how we get there can be different. We can have differences of opinion on the strategy to get to liberation, but we can't have differences of opinion on whether we need to be liberated or not. So you're never gonna have somebody. I'm never gonna have somebody that is detransitioning and talking shit about trans people on my show. Never gonna happen. Can they detransition and discuss their story without shitting on trans people? Absolutely. I'll have that. But you're not about to come on my show and talk about how crazy trans people are or how the devil got y'all mind tricked and da 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 da. I'm not gonna do that. Do y'all see the difference? Am I making that clear? I hope so. So yes, I want to be that person that kind of you are continuing Monica's work, and I would respectfully say taking it to the next level. Yes, Monica is a comrade, is a sister, is an inspiration, and I definitely was touched by her legacy. So absolutely. Um, and yes, continuing her work in a different way, but yes, in the same vein of trans-specific liberation. So yes, so that is the great news that March's Plate is officially fiscally sponsored, and I'm just so excited about it. Like, oh, so dope. Yes, 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 yes. So let me see. Hey, Brandon. Hey, CB. Who did Shashan? Who did not speak to? Hey, Brittany. Make sure you got thumbs up. So, all right. We have talked enough about the good news. Yay! Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you thumbs up if you're just joining us. Yes. So let's talk about Club Shay Shay. Monique on Club Shay Shay, because there was this big thing on Twitter talking about it. Hey Nat, hey A Moon. There was this big thing. We were kind of going back and forth on Twitter. A lot of people had opinions, and I wanted to kind of chime in and share my thoughts about the situation. So the just to give you context and background of what I'm talking about. So Shannon Sharp, handsome, sexy uncle, um, is now moving in the space of being a podcaster, being a kind of online personality, does these amazing interviews. I personally don't like his interview style. Well, not style, but I find him to be a boring interviewer. I think I am of the mindset that interviewers, while the light should be shined on your guest, you should be adding intellectual dialogue to or pushing the direction, the steering the direction for the guest to be more open, for the guest to be challenged, for the conversation to be entertaining and challenging and in depth. When we talk about when we in depth and new and fresh of what we're learning about the person that we are listening to you interview. Okay. So that's what makes interviewers like Barbara Walters. She's had some problematic interviews. Oprah, Diane Sawyer, um, Charlie Rose. Charlie Rose is he kind of got some bad rap. Not bad rap. He got, we done learned he done been doing some bad stuff behind the scenes. um, Robin Roberts, is that her name, from Good Morning America? Just good people who we know to be good interviewers. I think that I don't want the interviewer to just sit there and listen. I want the interviewer to discuss their thoughts and what is bringing up, and the whole purpose of them talking to the person is to open them up and be entertaining and steer the conversation in a way that allows us to a full view of the person that they're interviewing. That's my opinion. And I don't think that Shannon Sharp is that. I think the people that come on his show, if they are entertaining, then the show will be entertaining. But I don't think he contributes to that entertainment in the same way that he used to contribute on his ESPN show. I like that he at least tries to have some factoid information. Every interview, the person does comment that he does research. Good. Well, I think when you have money to have a producer, they do the research. I don't necessarily think that Shannon has a how do I say this nicely? I don't think Shannon has a great intellectual prowess. I don't think he can spar with people. I don't, that's just my opinion and how I watch. Because there, even what was glaringly obvious to me, is my point of view. What was glaringly obvious to me is this was two people who don't have the range. They may have the range for their own personal experience, but to talk in depth about, to have a well-rounded analysis about actually the subject that they're talking about, not from their own experience, like their own circumstance, but cultural analysis. I don't think these two people have the range, Monique or him. I think they can, sometimes they can say deep things and then it feels like it's about to go deep and then it just kerplunks into some shallowness. Um this particular interview especially. so so yes. So I this is the first interview coming off of his interview with Cat Williams, I think. And Cat Williams was such a bombshell because Cat Williams was calling people out. It was giving drunk uncle and auntie talk. Yes. Yeah, your drunk uncle and auntie that just, they just don't have, lived experience or, just don't have the range. And that's okay. It's okay for you not to have the range, but yeah. Watermelon. So with lemon juice on it, fire. So Monique goes on this normal. It's normal at this point. So we know the backstory is Monique was hired to do Precious by Lee Daniels. The producers of the show was Lionsgate, who were involved in the behind the scenes was Lee Daniels, Tyler Perry, and Oprah Winfrey, and the executives of Lionsgate. So long story short, she takes a small amount of money to do the film because she is cool with Lee Daniels. She wins an Oscar for them. She does an amazing job on Precious and wins an Oscar for the movie. When it was time to, before she wins the Oscar, when it was time to promote it, they were asking her to come and promote it and do all of these things for free. Now, mind you, she already hooked them up and gave them a deal in regards to how much she would take to do the film. But now y'all trying to get me to do stuff for free for y'all, and y'all got the money. Y'all Lionsgate. Like, come on. Like, what the fuck? And so because she wouldn't do stuff for free, Tyler Perry admitted on video, not on video, on audio recording when he was talking to Monique and her husband, who is her manager, admitted that he was the person who started the rumor that she was difficult, because after she wins her Oscar, she really doesn't flourish in the way that other people do. It's a combination of things, her being a fat Black woman and add on to the fact that this powerful person behind the scenes is making disparaging remarks about her. Oh, she's difficult to work with, blah 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 blah. And he admits it on the audio that multiple people have listened to. Okay. So that was 10 years ago. Fast forward to Monique getting kind of lowballed by Netflix. Netflix lowballs her when it comes to money. And she goes to the internet and calls them out. Yo, let's boycott Netflix because they are being shady and not doing what they're supposed to do in regards to how much I'm supposed to get paid as an Oscar winner, as somebody who has had a successful comedy career. I should be getting paid this much. Maybe not as much as a Dave Chappelle and blah 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 blah, but you definitely should be paying me more than an Amy Schumer. You definitely should be paying me more than your average motherfucker because I have an Oscar and I have a career, a successful career in comedy, TV, blah, 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 blah. I am not just some run-of-the-mill person that you can just give any kind of deal to. And being that you are giving amazing deals to this white woman who is fairly new and giving these amazing deals to the black male comedians, why are you not giving me an amazing deal? And that goes back to the 1980s case that Kimberly Crenshaw created the theory of intersectionality within law about, because she was trying a case where a black woman was saying, I am getting discriminated against here. I'm not being promoted. I'm not getting raises. I'm not doing what I need. This company is not treating me fairly. And the company was trying to say, what do you mean? You trying to make it a discrimination? But we have promoted women. And then they say, and we have promoted black people. And then the lawyer, Kimberly Crenshaw, says, but actually, yes, you promoted women, but it's white women. Yes, you promoted black people, but it's black men. You are not promoting black women. And so this gets into the conversation about intersectionality and gets in the conversation about how black women have a particular type of racism that's different. Not different. It's not a different racism, but a different racism changes when you are considering a black woman, because when it comes to not racism. Sorry, let me correct myself. Correction is grace. It's not racism. There is a particular type of oppression and discrimination that happens when you combine gender oppression and racial oppression on top of the same person. Okay? And it's different. Okay? And so that's, we got terms like misogynoir. That particular theory is what intersectionality is that Kimberly Crenshaw talks about in that case. This is not the first. She's the first person to coin that in law, but that idea has been around for a long time. Combahee River Collective, the lesbian greats that collective that created the Combahee River Statement, they called it simultaneity. There's multiple times when the idea that we're talking about, the concept of the intersections of these kind of oppression, has been talked about and has been called different things: intersectionality, simultaneity, da 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 da. But that's the concept of these two intersection levels of oppression. Patricia Hill Collins calls it the domination of the matrix of domination, all that kind of stuff. So where you at in the matrix of domination? Are we y'all still with me? I'm sorry, I had to get a little academic a little bit, but that is what she's saying about Netflix. Monique's is saying about Netflix, like, y'all motherfuckers is playing in my face, and I need to go to my community and tell them that that's what's happening. Now, because she's a black fat woman, the blacks, there's a particular type, there's a particular, she on Club Shay, she talks about, because she brings up now this month and this past quarter with Color Purple, Taraji P. Henson has been talking about the same thing that Monique was talking about, Black women being underpaid in Hollywood. Now, gotta understand the context. This is Hollywood context. So when we talking about money, you got to understand it is in the context of the field that we talking about. So I know when Monique say I got I got a $0.5 million offer, 500K, and blah 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 blah. Somebody broke would say, who never have seen that amount of money, would say, "Oh shit, I'll take that money. You girl, you better take that money. That's a lot of money. There's a lot of money." To you, your broke ass, that is a lot of money. But in comparison to her field, that is not a lot of money. In comparison to her being an award-winning actress, the top award, Oscar, her being that and having a long, successful career. She compared to other people who don't have that, her type of career, who don't have that, people who don't have that. I want you to understand. Thank you, Wade. People who don't have that successful career making more money than her is bullshit. Getting offered $12 million. I can't remember what Amy Schumer had got offered, but Amy Schumer did not win an Oscar. Amy Schumer did not have the career the successful career. We're not talking about just having a long career, because some people have long ass careers and just everything they do don't really be popping. But she has a successful career. And you are offering her 500K and not offer her the 12, 11 million that, or even anywhere near close. Like, even if it's like 10 million, you get what I'm saying? Like something that still would be unfair and still would align with them being Black women being underpaid in their field. That compared in her field is different. That is crazy. Very, very crazy. But what she's talking about, the concept of being underpaid as a Black woman, is something that is reflected in a lot of careers. Even in my own. For me, I am the lowest paid executive director that I know. And all the other executive directors that I know get paid way more than me. When it comes to men, women executive directors, Black women particularly in the cisgender field, get paid less than men. When it comes to you go to any sector, Black women are going to be on the bottom. Unless there's a Native person in there, then usually they run a neck and neck. Or Native is lower. So the concept of what she's talking about is the unfairness, the unjustness of the wage gap. Okay. So then she goes into the conversation about Oprah and Tyler and Oprah Winfrey and the shade of her. This is just a long, messy ass story. Oprah had Monique's family on Oprah's show. Oprah called her and asked her, could she have her brother who molested her on the show? And Monique said, sure, you can have him on the show. I'm not gonna be there. You can have him on the show. I don't mind you doing it, because you're trying to do something powerful, the way Oprah described it. But when she gave her permission to have the brother on the show, but she didn't give her permission to have the rest of her family on the show. Okay. So Oprah brings not only the brother, but also the mom and the cousins or something, just a bunch of the family member. And Monique was like, girl, that's shade. Like, why would you do that? Now I gotta be running around seeing people talk about how nasty my family is, how gutter bucket my family is, how they are just scammers and da 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 da. This is crazy. The dad too, right? So because she has an issue with Oprah, she has an issue with Tyler Perry, because he was really, the way she described it, he was the one that was shady. Oprah was just paying her dust. Like Oprah wasn't addressing it. If to me, Oprah was like, my name's Bennett, I ain't in it. And being that you trying it, I ain't gonna even address you. Tyler was being a messy queen behind the scenes, lying and saying that she was difficult to work with. And then over time, she says it. She says it on he says it on a phone call that he doesn't know he's being recorded. And then he's trying to get her to apologize for whatever she did when she didn't do anything. So anyway, that's the gist of the conversation, the context of the conversation. We have been hearing, if you Black and you have been hearing what's been going on with Monique for 10 years now, like literally 10 years, y'all. She's been talking about the same thing. I'm glad that she's getting vindicated. Absolutely. She had got vindicated a while ago. But why I'm talking about it this week is because in the conversation, she is talking about T.S. Madison. Now, T.S. Madison, if you have been following the story, a couple of years ago, T.S. Madison, she still has her show, like her morning show. And then she had another iteration on Fox Soul, I think. I'm not 100% for sure, but I think it's on Fox. I think it was on Fox Soul, where she brought Monique on as a guest. She had Tamar, she had Monique, she had just some other people, but I think the ones that I really remember was Monique and Tamar, because Tamar is so funny when she want to be. And that's the ones I remember. So Monique come to the show, and in the conversation, I'm skipping ahead. I'm sorry. So it was that what I am talking about that show, but Monique did a show with T.S. Madison before when she was still with Kaya, and this was a whole situation right when her and Kaya was about to flip. Yes, she was on the Queen's Court with Kaya. Yes, Brendan. And this was the episode that was the break, the Queen Supreme Court. This was the break. And so behind the scenes, apparently from what Monique said, and what this is what happened, because Monique and Madison confirmed this. Monique and Madison is having a conversation about the situation with Monique. Like these punks tried it. They were trying me. Lee Daniels was trying me. Tyler was trying me. Oprah was trying me. Lion Gates was trying me. Them hoes was trying me, and they made me lose money. Blah 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 blah. So they kikiing like Black woman kiki behind the scenes. And so when it comes to the Lee Daniels situation, T.S. Madison was like, "Yo, Monique, I ain't in it because that's my friend." Now Tyler, honey, and Oprah, you dragged them, but Lee Daniels is my friend, bitch, girl. You know, let's see if we can get something out. Like, I think that there might be a misunderstanding, or he just was in a difficult situation and he played you. Like, not saying that that's acceptable, but maybe, Lee Daniels is like, man, these motherfuckers got the money and I'm trying to get my film made. And I'm sorry, girl. They put me in a situation where we had to play you, girl. And this is it. It's not right. It's not right, but this is it. And I think Lee Daniels and Madison probably kikied about it behind the scenes. And so T.S. Madison has another view. And so Monique was like, well, then you need to get your friend together. You need to tell your friend to get his shit together and make this right. So T.S. Madison goes back to Lee Daniels and say, yo, you might have fucked up, my nigga. Let's fix this. Let's bring y'all together behind the scenes and fix it and blah, blah, blah. So in this conversation with Shannon Sharpe, Monica, why am I saying Monica? Monique was like, basically Monique was sharing the integrity of T.S. Madison and saying that T.S. Madison was the only one that stood on her shit and said, you did wrong by Monique. I listened to the tape. with Tyler and explaining the whole situation, and you did wrong by her. Come on, let's make this shit right. This is bullshit. Y'all know y'all did wrong by her, so let's make it right. And in the conversation where Monique was saying it, Monique explaining the integrity of T.S. Madison, Monique affirming T.S. Madison as her friend, as her sister, as her comrade, as somebody that looked out for her, somebody that fights for Black women, really boosting up T.S. Madison for what we know T.S. Madison to be. I have heard stuff about T.S. Madison behind the scenes, and it has been nothing but positive. T.S. Madison is a real ass bitch. She cool as fuck, and she about her shit, and she look out for you. She's not one of them snake ass motherfucker that's gonna, mess up shit for you behind your back. She, of course, if it's some shade going on, like you done did wronged her, she justifiably will wrong your motherfucking ass. But I'm talking about just her trying to be this boss hog and not get nobody else get any opportunities. All that kind of stuff. That is not T.S. Madison. T.S. Madison is a real down-to-earth bitch. Just like me, she has shared her platform with other people. She has brought other trans girls on. That's just who she is. She's a good-ass motherfucker. Feel what I'm saying? Exactly. I remember she came and picked up Prue from you. She didn't come pick her up for me. She came and picked her up for Brandon, but from my apartment. I didn't actually meet Madison then. I had to work when she came and picked Prue up, so she had to come get her from my apartment. Anyway, so in the conversation where she's bigging up T.S. Madison, she's calling her sister. She's affirming her as a woman. She's letting other Black women know that y'all talking about T.S. Madison ain't for the Black woman. Y'all on some bullshit, because she stayed behind the scenes looking out, fighting fights for Black women. This is how Monique is talking about her trans friend, T.S. Madison. In the conversation, though, she says, but look, Shay. I'm not Shay. Look, Shannon, it took a transgender to actually fix the problem that was going on. It took a transgender. T.S. Madison, a transgender. Now, this is why I'm here talking about this. Two things, yay, celebrate. Two things can be true at once. Monique was affirming T.S. Madison in that conversation. She was bigging her up. Monique used some weird othering language unintentionally about trans people. Now, if you're not trans, the language range was missing. If you're not trans, you might not know why this is what you might think. What? We call each other transgender. Diamond, you use the word transgender. Yes, you use the word Black. But how you use Black and how other people use Black can indicate the type of person that they are. If you hear a white man say, the Blacks have been in our neighborhood since the 60s. I know so many Black people. The Blacks. If you hear a white man say the Blacks and using Black as a noun and not as an adjective, and not saying there have been Black people in my neighborhood for so long. If they say the Blacks, that is a small indicator that they haven't learned how to talk about Black people. And they might be racist. They might be on a journey. They might not be Ku Klux Klan racist, but they might be on a journey. Because that language is weird. Using Black as a noun to refer to Black people is weird. You are a Black man. You are a Black woman. We are Black people. Black is an adjective. It is not a noun. Transgender is an adjective. It is not a noun. Transgender woman, transgender man, transgender people. Trans is short for transgender, so trans woman, trans man, trans people. When you say the transgender, that's weird. It's othering. It took a transgender. No, she should have said, it took a transgender woman to actually stand up for me. The black sound racist to you because you are a black person and you're not trans. As a trans person, saying the transgenders sounds fucking transphobic as fuck. Was she doing it intentionally? No. She just didn't know the language. And it's okay for us to correct her. And our correction doesn't negate what she's saying. It doesn't negate what she's talking about. It doesn't negate that she's showing T.S. Madison love. It doesn't stop our love for Monique. But her language, because she is not a trans person, unintentionally was wrong and transphobic. The transgender, all the same. I like a black. I like the blacks. I have a black at my job. Do you see how that sounds? Do you see how that sounds? Are you clocking it? Because you're black and you're used to that. Do you see what I'm saying? Because you're black, you can analyze race. It's easy to analyze race. But because you're not trans, you're not used to that. You're not used to clocking that microaggression. You're not used to that little nuance in language that others us, that takes us out of normal. It took a transgender. It took a black to come save me. I'm sorry. I'm also. I want you to clock this Southern bias that I'm putting in this voice. This is also a microaggression that I'm working on in myself. I'm putting a Southern twang on it because, unfortunately, the South is known to be racist, and so I'm giving it the blacks like a Southern person, even though white motherfuckers in the North are racist too. You see how I'm clocking that within myself? We have to clock that so we can fix it. This is in real time that I'm trying to show you that kind of bias. I'm showing you within myself that negative connotation that I give Southern people opposed to Northern. I didn't put a Northern accent on it. I put a Southern accent on it, which shows my bias towards Southern people. Are y'all clocking me? Y'all following it? Are y'all following me? Y'all with me? This is in the real time. This is in the real moment. We keeping it real, right? Because Diamond is not perfect either. So I'm talking about that bias between Southern and Northern, because we like to dumb down. We like to make it seem like Southern people are more racist and Southern people are slow and dumb. So now that I'm talking about saying the word and the word black in a negative way, as a noun, I'm putting this southern tone to it, and that's bias within myself that I got to check. This is how you do it. Call it out. This is how you do it in yourself, because we all ain't perfect. We all are navigating through these systems. We're navigating through these systems of class. We're navigating through these systems of race. We're navigating through these systems of gender. If you are not a femme or a woman, you might have a hard time clocking sexism. And it's not saying that there are some women who are not patriarchal princesses and holding up toxic masculinity and toxic patriarchal rules and norms. They do it too. But it's easy for you not to be able to clock. if you are not in the community that is being oppressed, and not oppressed in the thing like Monique is trying to kill us and trying to not to give us health care. There's different levels of oppression. Sometimes it's just in language. So Wade says, so she should have said it took a transgender woman. Yes, that would have fixed it. But us as trans people who are listening in and watching it, that's another thing. Let's talk about this. So this was not a private conversation, okay? This is someone who is on a show with the intention for it to be put out for the public to consume and to engage with. Okay? So I'm a Black trans woman. I am a part of Black culture. I like Black people. I love Black shit. So I'm going to watch Club Shay because I like Monique. And I like shit that surrounds us. So I'm going to watch it. So when I'm sitting here watching this show with this woman that I love, and she says something that's kind of like, ooh, cringy, I'm going to respond to it. No, I'm not going to take a hammer and say, oh my God, you used the wrong language. But I'm going to say, ooh, let me go tweet about how this is kind of the wrong language. Let me use this cultural moment that's happening and talk about, use it as a learning situation. Use it as a learning moment. We all do that. There's so many times that you done took your ass on the internet and put in a situation that ain't got shit to do with you. You watch something, you watch the video, you watch Beyonce, you watch a TV show, you watched a ball, you watch some kind of content, and you went to your status, your Twitter, your YouTube, your whatever, or your group chat with your friends and talked about what's going on, your opinion. You make an analysis, you make an assessment, you call something weird out. We all do that, especially when we're talking about big cultural moments. We're going to talk about these things. And if there's a learning moment, we're going to call that out. And so this was a moment where, okay, yes, two things can be true at once. Monique was saying some amazing shit about T.S. Madison. And Monique said some weird shit. Used some weird language to convey a point. So some people are going to talk about it. And so online yesterday, people were like, oh my God, her intention wasn't da-da-da-da-da-da. She wasn't being shady. Oh my God, I'm so tired of these transgenders. More, you see how the transphobia just snowballs? That one little moment made it come out in everybody. If you find yourself saying, if there's some pushback from a marginalized group, no matter how petty it is, if it's some real shit, which that was some real shit, and if you don't understand it, you should be asking questions. And intention versus impact, we know that concept. Your intent, there's tons of people whose intentions were good that fucked you over in your life. There's tons of people whose intentions were good that made some horrible mistakes that affected all of us. Trump. People who voted for Trump. People who voted against Roe versus Wade. Listen. So, intention does not matter. Your impact matters. So if I step on your shoe, I didn't intentionally step on your shoe, motherfucker. I don't expect you to beat me up and kill me over stepping on your shoe. That's going too far. But you having an attitude about me stepping on your shoe, maybe it's your fucking shoe. You have a right to have feelings about somebody stepping on your shoe. And you have a right to say something about it. Yo, you stepped on my shoe. My job is to say, oh, I'm sorry, I apologize. because I stepped on your shoe. I didn't intentionally step on your shoe, but the impact is still there. You still got a cuff on your Air Force Ones. You still got a scuff on it. The impact is still there. So understand the difference between intent and impact. If somebody expressing to you negative impact on somebody's words and language, their intention doesn't matter at that point. And understand that nobody was calling Monique to be canceled, or I'm not fucking with Monique. Maybe somebody, I don't want to speak absolutes, but somebody teaching you about the language is just teaching you about the language. It's not us being sensitive. Because if we're sensitive about the language, then you sensitive about the language. Let's talk about when your name is Quiandria Anjane and a motherfucker can't pronounce that shit. And we as black people is like, motherfucker, you can pronounce Michelangelo. So you gonna get this name right. And she gonna correct you. Think about if it's your child that you named this name. And she gonna correct you. You need to get her name right. It's just a name. She didn't mispronounce it on purpose. It don't matter. Get her name right. That's what I named my child. Or that's what my name is. You see how this? Somebody listening to us talk about this could say, oh, y'all so damn sensitive. Why are you making this a race issue? Y'all so damn sensitive. She just trying to get your name. She just trying to take attendance. Then she needs to get my name right. Do y'all see the parallel there? Sometimes people care about language. Sometimes it's language that you don't care about. And correction is grace. Because I've seen a lot of people saying, you need God. She didn't mean to do it. Y'all need to show her some grace. Correction is grace. When I correct you, when you wrong me, and I don't punch you in your face and I'm just correcting you, that's me gracing you. When you say something shady or say some racist shit to me and I call you out and say, oh, that's kind of weird. You shouldn't do that. I am gracing you with the benefit of the doubt that you actually can change. I am gracing you with the benefit of the doubt that you did this intentionally. I am correcting you because I think that you have the mind to accept what I'm telling you and change your language. Correction is me gracing you. And as a trans person, we go through this with our family. We go through this about pronouns, about our name, about language. Imagine somebody, you are a person, you're a black person, and this man keeps calling you a boy. You a grown-ass man or grown-ass woman, she could be calling you a gal. Come on over here, gal, pick up this stuff. Now, I'm saying, at this point, I'm saying a country accent because I'm thinking about a particular event. And it's southern, it's very southern for southern women to call you a young person, a gal or a boy, especially if they're racist. I don't really hear that up north. That's really southern specific. Come on over here, gal, and pick up this stuff. Come on over here, boy, and do something. And you say, I'm not a boy. I'm not, don't be calling me gal. Oh, I call everybody that. This happened to my mom at her she worked at a restaurant in Carthage, Mississippi. And her boss kept calling her gal. And he calls all the black people gal. If they're girl, gal, and all the men, boys. That's a microaggression. That is a racist microaggression. It infantilizes you. It makes you a little boy. It makes you a little girl. It's not an equal respect. You're a man, I'm a man. can you come pick these things up, sir? Even if I'm your boss. Hey, sir, can you come pick these up? Or say their name. Hey, Deanna, can you come grab these things for me and take them to the kitchen? It's not, come get these things, gal. That's racist. That's weird. It's disrespectful. It's a microaggression. Feel what I'm saying? Y'all follow me? And so, understand, you are sensitive about language. You, when it's pertaining to you, you are sensitive about language. You know when somebody is calling you a punk or a fag in a derogatory way. You know when somebody is calling you a bitch in a derogatory way. Your homegirls, your friend, your gay boy, they can call you bitch. Oh, bitch, come here. Bitch, girl. But as soon as somebody call you a bitch that don't know you, your ears perk up. Why are you calling me a bitch? I don't fucking know you. Why are you using that language? You sensitive about that language. When your man says, you're not feminine. You don't submit enough. That feminine and submitting language makes you perk up. Who the fuck you talking to? Why would I need to submit to your ass? The fuck you talking? Who you been listening to? Kevin Samuels? Who the fuck you talking to? That language, using that language has a connotation. We all care about language. Language is how we express things. And some of those things that we are expressing are negative. And there are some things that are built inside our language that makes people, that others people, that dehumanizes people. And the perfect example is somebody saying the blacks. I have a black as a friend. Y'all get it. And so when somebody says, I have a transgender as a friend, it's a transgender that work at my job. I know all about the transgender. And that's why that was a problem. And so trans people are going to talk about the problems to steer you in the right direction. Think about gay men who have a problem with other gay men calling them girl in a gay setting. There are some gay men who don't like that. And some gay men that's cool with it. But it's tons of gay men that's like, I don't like you to call me a girl. I'm a man. Don't call me no girl. Y'all too gay. Not saying that that's not rooted in internalized homophobia, but that language is important to you, and it's not you being sensitive. Now, if somebody referred to Monique as one of the fats, she would understand. Because language is important. Even in the conversation with Monique and Shannon Sharp, Monique and Shannon, Shannon had a problem because Shannon comes from a certain era. Shannon had a problem with calling Monique a fat black woman. Even though she was like, say it what it is. Like there was a moment where Shannon was very apprehensive about calling her a fat black woman because to Shannon, fat is derogatory. So more than likely in his mind, he has internalized that word to mean be a pejorative. So saying it makes him uncomfortable. But there's tons of fat people that call themselves fat and saying fat is not a pejorative to some people, but it is to other people. Oh, don't call me fat because of fat phobia. Are y'all clocking that? Y'all got it? Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. So I just want to make it very clear that language is very, very important to you and us. It's not us being sensitive. We're not just being sensitive. Oh, y'all sensitive. But I want it to be very clear. If you find yourself every time there is pushback and moments where we are learning and we're pushing back on what's being said, and you find yourself huffing and puffing, oh my God, here they go. About anybody, not just trans people, about anything. You talk about when the women is complaining about something that's oppressing them, when the gays are complaining about something that's oppressing them. We hear from cis men all the time. Oh my God, why the gays always trying to make a parallel between being black and being gay? We two separate people. That's homophobia in you, sir. You trying to make it seem like black gay people don't exist. Like those two don't intersect at all. Like black gay people got the same rights as white gay people. You're ignoring the parallels between these two oppressed people. And if you are a person that every time you see a trans person is pushing back and you huffing and a puffing and oh my God, you are a transphobe. That's internalized transphobia in you. That is internalized transphobia. If you find yourself constantly feeling annoyed by trans people dismantling transphobia, feeling annoyed when we have something to say, that's because you don't fuck with trans people like you think you do. You performing, oh, I'm down with the trans people. There's tons of, especially in the LGBT, there's tons of people, non-trans and some trans, and some trans, and some trans, and some trans. Let me reiterate, and some trans, who don't really fuck with us like that. They know in the back of their head that, ooh, if I say this in a certain way, I'm going to look like a bigot and a hypocrite. And I should be accepting of everybody because I'm gay. Or I should be accepting of everybody because I'm a lesbian. I should be accepting of everybody because I'm a bottom. I should be able to accepting of everybody because I'm a trans man. But, ooh, when trans women are talking about trans misogyny, oh, here they go. That's internalized transphobia. You don't fuck with us for real. Because you're not trying to learn. Because I wouldn't say that if I'm a prison abolitionist and some prisoner is bringing up some prison nuance to the conversation, I ain't gonna be like, oh Lord, here they come with this abolitionist shit. That means you a fucking op. That language that you're using right there, let me know you not a comrade. You're not an ally. I don't even want no fucking ally. I want an accomplice. I want a comrade who in the struggle with me. I don't need you to be in the audience watching. I need you to be in the band playing the music of change. Clock that. I don't need you to be in the audience watching and complaining. I want you to be in the band on the drums. I want you to be in the band on the saxophone. You may not be playing the same thing as me, but we in the band playing music of change together. Y'all getting this analogy? Clock it. You're not in the audience just sitting watching me play. That's what an ally does. An advocate and an ally. They just sit and watch. They may say, ooh, clap. Yes. Yeah, go see that show. Go listen to them. But if you in the band, you helping me make this musical change. You in the band. You are an accomplice. You're a comrade. You with me. And a lot of y'all motherfuckers is in the audience watching. I don't agree with Diamond so much, but if you want to learn about, I don't agree with that transgender stuff, but if you want to learn about transgender shit, I'm going to send you to Diamond. That's the audience. That's cute. You're not the enemy. But are you in the band? How do you get in the band? How do you be an accomplice with me? How we change making together. Thumbs up. So, two things can be true at the same time. The bigger picture of Monique, what Monique was talking about, is pay us our money and stop being fake friends and not holding powerful friends accountable, not speaking truth to power, and not holding them accountable to the wrongs that they've done. That's what Monique, the bigger picture of what Monique was saying when she was bringing up T.S. Madison, is that she was the only one that held people to the fire. You know you did wrong. Come on, fix this. She the only one who heard the audio of Tyler Perry admitting it and then saying, Tyler did admit that he had wronged you. I heard it with my own ears. Everybody else was like, I ain't going to say that. I might not get an opportunity. And she pointed out Kevin Hart. She pointed out a couple of people who sold her out because of an opportunity. And this is why I always say, we talk about racism, white supremacy, we talk about gender, we talk about all these things a lot. Those are the ones, because I think those are kind of like how interpersonally that we can't hide. We can't hide certain things. They're more pressing issues that can't go as covert. But classism and capitalism, I think, are the silent killers. Those are the way people sell us out behind closed doors. Money. People will sell you out to people, and not even about money, just to seem like they're in a different class than you. They will sell you out. Just to seem like they got more money than you. They could be in the same projects with you, and we'll talk about how your Louis Vuitton bag is fake and they Louis Vuitton bag is real, even though they got it from a sugar daddy that they fucked. They didn't make it from no hard work or some skill that they got. They got it from, honey, the black market too. But they will dog your fake Louis Vuitton bag out, even though y'all both poor living in the projects. So class. So that's what the big picture of Monique. The little picture of what trans people was trying to say, the both and of the situation.
Accessibility shortcuts.
Get off there. Not accessibility shortcuts. Learn to use the right words about your trans friends and comrades. Don't fumble mindlessly through conversations about us. That is the point of us correcting you. And as I said, correction is grace. We are teaching you how to be a good friend, how to be a good ally, how to talk about us in a respectful, not dehumanizing, othering way. If we are gracing you, with correction, take the correction with grace. You shouldn't be huffing and a puffing. You should be like, oh, okay, my bad. Do you know how easy it is? Oh, my fault, I used the wrong language. My bad. I remember I had my brother on here long time ago. The very, very first video of my brother when he was like 21 or 18. I don't know. He was in his early 20s or late teens. And he used the word fag. And after we recorded, he says, "Oh, I used the word fag. Am I supposed to use that word?" And he was worried about saying it while we was recording, even though he wasn't talking about a particular person. He was sharing that my mom was calling me that word. So, but he had some apprehensive about being recorded saying the word, because I have taught him that he's not supposed to use that language. So he had some apprehensive about it. We can tell. And so I had to say, "Oh, you weren't calling somebody else that word. You were using the word that mama called, that you were using the word that you was quoting somebody else. It is okay to quote. If that was their words, it's okay to quote their words. Now, you can't call somebody a fag. You can't use that language. Gay people can. Gay men. You can. This is debatable, but assign male and birth people. I think that fag and dyke are one of them words that I've heard lesbians say that people who are not dykes shouldn't be using the word dyke because it's a pejorative. But all these things are debatable. But I know you as a straight man shouldn't be using it. You feel what I'm saying? Because it's negative for you. So, but I can tell based on what his response, his physical, his non-verbal body language. I can tell that there was some apprehension and it wasn't intentional. And he was just in the process of learning. We can tell that. We can tell when you are genuine. We can tell when this is a honest mistake. We can tell when it's not intentional. Like, oh my, when I heard Monique say that, I didn't think she was intentionally using the wrong language to other T.S. Madison. She just hasn't been pushed the language. And everybody, there's another element too. First of all, let me say this. You was not too old to learn. So anybody is making the excuse of, "Oh, this is how old people talk." There are some older people who don't talk like that, who are inclusive. I just went to see Cornel West today, and he was using inclusive language that was right. And he old. I've been on stage and worked with Angela Davis, the icon, Afro icon Angela Davis. And she uses the right language. She's trans inclusive in her politics. Old don't mean nothing. I have my Aunt Joe. My Aunt Joe is 81. And when I go to her house, she calls me Diamond. Did she call me Diamond the year I first transitioned? No. She was calling me my dead name. But it took us time. And here in 2024, when I come in her house, she calls me Diamond and don't call me nothing else. She calls me the right pronouns. Did it take time? Absolutely. I transitioned in 94. Was she doing it in 95? No. We had to work on it, honey. But she would say, let me tell you this is how my aunt transitioned. This is kind of not transition as in she transitioned, but transitioned herself to using the right language for me. So when I first transitioned, she was calling me my dead name. Then when she so what she started to do is she would change my name to the girl version of my name. So say my name was Christopher. That's not my dead name. But say my name is Christopher. She would call me Christina, even though that's not the name, my affirmed name. My affirmed Diamond is nowhere near my it's nowhere near my birth name. And so she's calling me Christina, and I'm like, "Girl, that's not my name." And so she would cackle. She was like, "But it ain't Christopher." So she started off saying my dead name. Then she started calling me Christina. So when I come in the room, "Hey, Miss Christina." like, bitch, where you get Christina? My name ain't no motherfucking Christina. And so I was like, girl, my name is not no damn Christina. My name is this. And she was like, oh, I'm going to have to get used to that, child, and blah, 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 blah. And I corrected her. I wasn't angry with her. I just corrected her every single time. Every single time. And I'm not making some big deal about it. I'm just correcting her every single time. I'm saying, no, my name is Diamond. And then she'd be like, oh, my bad. Da, 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 da. And so 5 minutes later, she might her brain might switch back. And then Christopher, my name is Diamond. Oh, damn. I'm gonna have to get used to it. And it gets to a point where I'm correcting it every time. And I know you're not doing it on purpose, but I'm gonna correct you every time. And we're gonna interrupt your story. We're gonna interrupt your funny moment. We're gonna interrupt whatever you're trying to do, whatever you're trying to convey. I'm gonna interrupt you with a correction because you're going to get this right. And we're going to get this right. And we're going to get this right. And you know what happened? She ended up getting it right. Till I started twirling the folks, then it was correct every time. I didn't have to twirl nobody. I did have to stop dealing with people. There are some people who intentionally, because this is what it is. And there's an episode of Marsha's Plate that you can search and look for. One of my old hosts, Z, the trans man that I used to host a show with, we brought his father on the show. And Z, before we interviewed his father, Z told me that his father was going to dead name him during the show. And so I said, are you comfortable with that? Because if you're not comfortable with it, then we ain't going to have him on the show. So how do you want me to address this situation? And he was like, oh, just, I want it to be a real moment. And I was like, but I'm not gonna let them disrespect you. So what I did in the editing of the conversation. So it was supposed to be Z just interviewing his dad. Now his dad is a Christian, a new Christian. He just started to be living Christ-like. He wasn't living like that before. And when Z was interviewing his dad was bringing up the Bible and scriptures. I know the Bible too. So Z don't know the Bible. So his dad was bringing up scriptures, and I knew Z didn't have the reins to rebuttal, but Mama Diamond do. So if you listen to the episode, I'm coming back with, honey, I grew up in church too. I've been in church longer than you. When it comes to what I know about this stuff, you just start going to church in your old age. I know this from your child. So I actually have more education in theology than you. So let's spar. So in that conversation, me and the dad is going back and forth. Like, honey, this is what the Bible say. This is what the Bible do and don't say. And so, but my point, let's talk about dead naming. In that episode, I intentionally, on the editing, I intentionally put a sound anytime that Z's father dead names him and use his old name, even though he had been transitioned for years. Anytime his father used his old name, I edit in this kind of laser zapping sound. And so I leave that sound, that annoying sound, in because I am creating an audio experience for my audience to learn from this moment. And so I used it as a moment that every time you hear this sound is every time that this person has misgendered somebody that they say they accept and love. This is somebody who you are saying that you love and you accept and you cool with, but you're not doing the basic shit like using their name. And I want my audience to hear how many times in this conversation that you actually do the very small thing that you could do in language that you could do to change and make them actually feel accepted by using the affirmed name that they chose for themselves. And after 5 years, you are still not doing it. So no longer it was an insane amount. It was. So after 5 years, you're still using the wrong name. So what it tells your child is that this is not going to change. And that's what Z was saying. I know this is not going to change about him. And because everybody can't fight their parents or don't want to fight their parents and actually do love their parents, they just distance themselves from you. Because you're not trying to change it. And that's what it is. So I gave my family 3 years. There's some people that I didn't give any time. You either get it or you don't. But there's some people that I love. I gave them the grace. I gave them the grace of 3 years. I corrected them every time, but it took me, it was 3 years before I start cussing people out and going off. I was just correcting, correct, giving them the grace of this going to take time. Period. Sometimes people are going to correct you. Sometimes you're going to get it wrong. But I know when it is intentional. I know when it is not. 3 years is definitely you gave them grace. Yes. I had been named my name since I was assigned male at birth, since I was born. It might take some time for you to get my new name and my new pronouns. And another element of my transition is I transitioned young. Adults don't respect kids. So I'm coming in 13, 14, 15, 16, talking about I'm a girl. And adults in your life feel like it's their job to steer you in the right direction. Steer you in the right direction. So you going down this path where these people are getting AIDS, they feel an obligation to teach you not to go down that path. A Christian obligation, a safety obligation. Not saying that they're right, but this is their mindset. So you don't know no better. So it's hard to push up against an adult that think they're right and don't know nothing about being trans. They barely know anything about being gay. They barely know anything about sexuality outside of theirs. So I was giving them grace for a reason. And then once I became an adult, emancipated, this like 17, 18, that's when I started pressing the issue because I'm grown now. Ain't none of y'all paying my bills. I ain't living with none of y'all. So when I come in the house, how I did my grandmother, because I knew she was being mean. She wasn't trying. She was intentionally not calling me by my name. I start calling my grandmother bitches in public. Like anytime she called me my old name in public, I start calling her bitches, and not calling her bitches like angry bitch, just calling her bitch like in the same way that you would say somebody's name. And so we would be grocery shopping, and she was like, "Oh, go to aisle 7. Dead name, go to aisle 7 and get me a sack of potatoes or whatever. I don't know." And I was like, "Okay, bitch." Now, my grandmother is respectable queen. She not churchy, but she might as well be. Where what? Calling her a bitch in public. She don't want nobody call. She ain't even the type of woman who call her friends bitch. She's not even that. My grandmother is not that. She's like, no, what? You calling me bitch? What the fuck are you doing? Yeah, she's not that. Yeah, bitch, do you want the green pack or the blue pack? So she didn't understand why I'm calling her bitch, because I'm not calling her a bitch in an angry way. I'm just saying bitch. And she was like, why the fuck do you keep calling me bitch? And I was like, because you keep calling me this. And so if you call me what I don't want to be called, that I find disrespectful, I'm going to call you something that you find disrespectful. If you don't want me to call you that, then don't call me this. But that's your motherfucking name. Your mama gave you that. And my mama calls me my affirmed name. So if my mama can do it, bitch, you can do it. So what we doing? Now, at this point, I'm like 16, 17. But I don't live with my grandmother. I live with myself. But I'm helping her. Like, she literally has me in a grocery store helping her grocery shop. Because she don't want to do it by herself. Like, she wants to have the benefit of me as a child, as a grandchild, because she don't have no more fucking grandkids. She wants me to help her be able to carry the groceries, take out the trash, do all the shit that she want a grandchild to do, especially a male grandchild. She want me to do all that, and I would. But you gonna respect me. You want me to come over and hang stuff up. You want me anything that she think that she needs that she don't want to do. Put some curtains up. Move this furniture over here. Any shit she think a male child should do for her, she would want me to do it. Help me move this furniture. Help me do this. Da 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 da. If I'm gonna come, and because I've been taught to be inclusive, not inclusive, a family motherfucker. That's my job. As a grandchild, I'm supposed to be there for my grandmother. That's how I was taught. So, so I had to have a compromise. I will come do this stuff for you, but you're gonna respect my name. This is my name. My name is Diamond. This is what I want to be called. And I done give you 3 years. So you're doing it on purpose. You're not even trying. You're not going to be calling me no bitch. Okay, bitch, I won't be coming over here no more. But she still needed me. So eventually, she got it together. Or, which this was funny too. There was a time in my grandmother's history with me where, which is funny, giving the conversation about pronouns now, she would call me they. Tell them to, say she's talking to my mom. Tell them to come on over. Would you let them nickname you like if they called you Dee Dee? That's an interesting point that you're making, Brandon, because that actually happened to me too. But not with my grandma. It happened with my middle brother, the transphobic one that I wasn't talking to for 12 years. So, my middle brother, so I have 2 brothers, Rakim and Tony. The middle one is Tony. The youngest one is Rakim. Rakim is the one y'all know that I had brought on the show. Tony, now, when Tony got older, it just got weird. There was something about when he hit his 20s, he just turned into a transphobe. It was weird. Like, I don't know what happened, but he was all cool with me in my teens and in his teens, and then something happened when he turned like 22, or I don't know. Something got weird. Yeah, when he hit like 20. I remember we lived in these apartments in Mississippi. And he would come, he lived with his dad in Indiana, and we all lived in Mississippi. So he would come visit. And I'm trans, so my mom and my brothers call me Diamond. I'm their sister. My mom, that's my daughter. So when she introduced me to people, I'm her daughter. You get what I'm saying? So somebody who is a stranger, they don't know I'm trans. And this is my mama. So somebody saying this is my mama saying I'm daughter, there's no reason for them to think I'm trans. You get what I'm saying? The brother is saying that this is his sister. The mama is saying that this is her daughter. So there was a lot of time that would kind of, nobody would know my tea. So nobody in the neighborhood knew my tea because I'm literally being affirmed by my mother and affirmed by my family, her boyfriend, everybody. So my little brother, the middle one, comes to the apartment to visit for a summer. I leave because I'm actually grown. I leave and I go somewhere. Or no, I'm not living there yet, but I have visited. So now I come down there to live with my mom. This is when I first moved back to Mississippi in 2005. And so when I first come down to visit, everybody is good. Everybody's good. And trans people, I don't know if y'all, I can tell when somebody knows my tea. I just can tell. Like I can tell when you don't know, and I can tell when you know. Even if you're not being rude, it's just how you look at me, it's how you respond to me. I can tell when somebody knows my tea. I can tell it. We're used to it. Like it's hard to explain if you're not trans, but I can tell when somebody knows that I'm trans. Like I can tell it. No, it's not. He didn't experience something that he don't want to talk about. I know what it is now. At the time, I didn't. I'll talk about that later. At the time, I didn't. So I come visit. Everybody in the neighborhood cool, love me. I'm the new thick red bone. I'm young. I'm like 25. I'm honey, sexy, body right. I'm thick. I'm just, slim, thick. I'm just right. So niggas is like, damn, Moochie, my mama's name is Moochie. Damn, Moochie, hook me up with your daughter. Like niggas my age. And niggas older than me. So even my little brother, his little friends is like, damn, your big sister is fine. What's up? They coming in flirting. It's sickening. So everybody cool. My brother comes, my middle brother comes, but I wasn't there when he comes. And I come back. And so the girls downstairs, there is 3 sisters downstairs. And my mom, they come upstairs and they're talking to me and I'm talking to them. And I had met them the last trip, but this time, this second trip that I come back and I'm living there now, they're looking at me weird. Like they're looking at me. And I'm like, something's up. They're saying things that don't make sense. So it doesn't, it's just these real subtle things where I'm like, they're either clocking me or they know my tea. And I know my little brother is not going to tell my tea. I know my mom is not going to. At this time, I wasn't for sure about my mom. I don't think so because my mom don't like answering questions. So my mom is a type that I don't even want to answer no questions. So that's my daughter. That's done. I said what I said. That's how my mama personality is because she don't even want to answer questions. Now my brother just knows, honey, he knows the vibes. He ain't gonna tell my tea at all. But I wasn't for sure about my mom. But now my mom never tell my tea. So I'm like, did my mom tell my tea? Like, why would she do that? Because in my brain, you don't need to know my tea. If we not fucking, you don't need to know my tea at all. So next thing, I'm outside and they smoking a blunt. I don't smoke, but I'm outside with the girls downstairs and they talking and da-da-da-da-da-da. And so they get to saying shit like, oh my God, you so pretty. Now, women do give women compliments, but it's how you give compliments. They don't give other women, especially light-skinned women, and these is dark-skinned women. They don't show you love in that way. A stranger bitch. They don't show you, it ain't, oh my God, you're so beautiful. And That's not how women show you love. They gonna say, they might say you look good. Oh, that outfit is cute. They might, how these bitches was doing it, let me know that they knew my tea, because my pretty was surprising to them. Like, you can tell this is you not supposed to be pretty, but you're pretty. This is like, I'm not saying, they're not, in the beginning, they weren't saying, you so pretty, I couldn't even tell that you was a man. That's what it sounds like. They're not saying it, but this is the tone that they're giving. And so I'm like, oh, thank you so much. And so they're giving me a compliment, and then we're talking, and then one of the girls, I guess she tired of faking the funk. She was like, so can I ask you a question? And any gay person or any trans person know that anytime somebody prefaces that, you either about to get your T clock. They're either, if you're a gay man, they about to say, are you gay? Or they about to say, are you trans? And so she says, can I ask you a question? She was like, how did you get your titties like that? Because they look real. They don't look like implants. And I say, because I'm not 100% for sure if this is some trans T question, even though I think it is, I say, no, I don't have implants. Who told you that I had implants? Oh, she's like, no. I just know that, y'all be getting on hormones and stuff to get titties sometimes, or get implants, or I don't know. I just wanted to know how you get yours, because yours looks so natural. And I say, oh, at this point, I know she's talking about tea, because why would she bring up hormones? And I was like, interesting. I was like, my titties are natural. What hormones? What are you talking about? She was like, oh, your brother told me that you was a transgender. Who? And she was like, oh, Tony, the middle brother. So I was first thinking Rakim, and I was like, what? Rakim would never do that. Rakim never does that. It was Tony. So apparently, so I called Tony, and I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, what the hell? Why would you tell my tea? Because mind you, he's telling them my tea when I'm not around. You feel what I'm saying? So when he was visiting, I wasn't there. So I didn't understand, like, why would my tea come up? So apparently, from what the girls told me, when he come down, so my brother is attractive. Both of my brothers are attractive. My middle brother is typical attractive. A lot of bitches like him because he kind of caramel, and people love him. And so these chicks was his age. My little brother was young, so he's like 15. So this is like, this dude is like 19, 20. So he a man. And so these is 19, 20-year-old girls. And so they trying to fuck him, and he ended up fucking one of them. And so in the conversation with them, my brother, the girl says that she was like, oh, your sister came down here a couple of weeks ago. We met your sister too. And my brother says, that's not my sister, that's my big brother. And they like, what? And he basically, for no reason, tell them that I'm trans. Now, this is the first time me and my brother is going through this situation. And so I tell him, that's my business to tell. I don't need you to tell any of my business. If I'm not fucking people, people don't need to know anything about me. Let me tell them if I want to tell them. And so he was like, but the way they told it was like there was an annoyance in him. He was annoyed that my mother and my brother were telling them that I was their sister and their daughter. My brother was annoyed by that. So this is the first time that we have a situation about him telling my team. Fast forward to him. That was the first. So I went off for him. Fast forward to Thanksgiving of 2012. So that was like 05. Fast forward to 2010. My brother get locked up for arson because he's crazy and tried to burn up his baby mama's house. And so there's some other shit that happened in between, but I'm trying not to make this story super long. He was staying with us in the house. There was one time that he was staying with us in the house. So I want y'all to understand the exchange, to understand the dynamic here. So I am the oldest child. I am the child that stepped up and got custody of my brother when my mom went to prison. I did not get custody of the middle brother. I got custody of my little brother. The middle brother went to his father. So he has this idea in his head that we abandoned him. My mom abandoned him. When I took Rakim, I abandoned him. And so he has this kind of vendetta, this bitterness, more so towards my mom than me, because nigga, you ain't my child. But because he had his dad, my little brother didn't have his dad. So I had to take on the responsibility that my mom was neglecting. And so he has this kind of I want to say vendetta, but it's like it's a bitterness about my little brother coming to stay with me and him not being able to come stay with me. You had your dad. You didn't need to come stay with me. So it's this weird ass dynamic. When we go stay with my mom, he is grown. We're in my mom's house, but my mom loses her job. I'm a sex worker at the time, a young, hot sex worker where I'm making tons of money. So I'm paying all my mom's bills and we all live in the house. My little brother has a job, my youngest brother now, because he's in his teens and he has a work permit. So he's working at Crystal's. I'm the only one paying bills. My mom's oldest child. So, and how sex worker works. You're not up in the morning, you up all night and driving around going to people's hotels or whatever. So, or flying and going to places, other cities and shit. So I wake up to my mom arguing with my brother, my middle brother, and his baby mama lives in the house too. So mind you, I'm paying all the bills, and it is 5 adults and a teenager in the house. I'm the adult, my mom the adult, her man. This is their house. They got the house. My little brother, who is an adult, and his baby mama. She hasn't had her baby yet. It's in her stomach. She's like 7 months pregnant. All these people are adults. Only person paying bills is Diamond. So I'm frustrated, right? But if you ain't got no job, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like, what you gonna do? You still got to pay bills. This is where you live. So that's the tension. So we have rules in the house. My mama's the cook. Me and my mama is the cook. But usually it's my mama cooking because I'm paying all the bills. I'm working. So my mama is cooking. My mama's boyfriend is also cleaning. He doing stuff. He's the only one who has a car. So that's the mama's boyfriend's contribution, is that he has a car. So when I need to go get clients, I'm jumping in his car, of course, putting gas in it and going to get clients. So I want you to get the dynamic. So the boyfriend is contributing the car, and he's clean. He's a clean man, so he's cleaning too. My mom is doing the cooking. So what we did was we divvied up. My mom, if she does the cooking, she don't do no cleaning. We all can clean the house. You know what I'm saying? If she doing the cooking and da-da-da-da, she don't need to do no cleaning. So the rule, we split it to where it's certain days that everybody's supposed to clean the kitchen after a meal. So say it's Tuesday, my brother's day, my middle brother day is Tuesday. So the next day on Wednesday, he was supposed to clean the kitchen that night. On Wednesday, it's not done. And so I wake up Wednesday to him and my mother arguing about him cleaning the kitchen. And it's not just, it's like arguing, like a man arguing with a woman arguing. Like not a son arguing with a mama. Like disrespectful to me. You disrespecting my mother. You disrespecting your mother. I don't like this. So I wake up to the tone of my brother's voice. And this is the first time me and my brother are living together as adults. And so hearing him talk like this as a man to my mother is triggering me. So I wake up and I come out and I have my robe on and I'm like, what is happening? And so my mom says, oh, he was supposed to clean the kitchen last night. And he said he didn't clean the kitchen because he didn't mess it up. He cleaned up his plate and his cup and put it in the sink. So apparently my brother felt like since he didn't mess up nothing other than his plate and his cup, that he only needs to clean his plate and his cup. He ain't clean up after nobody else. Even though he ate the food that I paid for, even though he's sitting in thumbs up, even though he's sitting under lights, under the heat and under the comfort of electricity that I pay for, even though my mama cooked the meal, even though we not only feeding you, we feeding your baby mama and the baby in your baby mama's stomach because she came down here with no motherfucking money and we had to actually she came down here with no money. And so we feeding her too. And so you really set your ass up there last night, Tuesday, when it was your day to clean the kitchen and washed one plate and one cup that you ate out of, and you sat here and you're sitting here arguing to not clean the kitchen because you didn't mess all that stuff up. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but would you be pissed? Because the audacity of this logic is pissing me off. So once I hear what's going on, I'm pissed. I'm pissed. And so I say, all right, well, first of all, that's your mother. That's my mother. You're not about to disrespect my mom. I don't care what's going on. You need to regulate your voice. You talking too damn loud. If I'm waking up because you hollering at her, you doing too much. You can get your point across without screaming at my mother. And you're not going to disrespect her. This is her house. This is her house, and this is a house that I pay the bills at. So you're not going to disrespect her. Number 2, if you don't want to clean the kitchen, don't eat. Don't eat shit in this house from now on. As a matter of fact, I'm taking the plate you got right now. And I picked up his plate and his baby mama plate and took them to the kitchen. Don't eat nothing in this house that you didn't pay for because you not my child. I ain't got no pussy for you to come out of, and you didn't come out of it. And you definitely didn't come out my ass. So I don't owe you nothing. So anything that I paid for in this house, you don't touch it. Because if you can't clean up after everybody else in the house, you don't need to eat the food that everybody else paid for you. You don't need to eat nothing. And next month, when the lights is due, I need your portion of it. It's 5 people in this house. I need you to give me a 5th of whatever the bill is. Because you also not about to use the lights that I paid for. Since you can't clean up after nobody else but you about to pay your way. And you, I'm talking to my mom, and you, any of his clothes that you clean, don't clean them no more. He's cleaning it himself. You're not a damn maid. And if he can't clean up after you, you don't need to clean up after him. So you don't need to wash his clothes. He don't need to eat food. And every time I come in this motherfucker and that TV is on and you watching the cable that I pay for, I'm cutting that motherfucker off. Until you give me some money on it. And this ain't got nothing to do with you, baby girl. But it's about time for you to go back home to your mom. Because we are not taking care of his responsibilities. So make sure you call your mom and you figure out how to get back home to Indianapolis to be with your people. Because you are not our responsibility to take care of. Because you are a mouth to feed too. And while everything was all good, you was here and we was feeding you. But now that he's acting like this and ain't nobody saying nothing, it's time for you to go too. So let's figure it out. And I'm saying it just like this. And now he's sitting over there seething and mad because he didn't, his brain, my brother kind of slow. His brain, because he was lazy and didn't want to go in there and clean up, he was trying to make this illogical gaslighty excuse. But now that I'm sharing and I'm cutting off everything, I'm sharing him some knowledge for him to understand there's a lot of things that you're not contributing to, baby, that you're benefiting from. You might want to clean them little dishes on Tuesday. And so he gets this attitude and stands up. And so I say, boom, and take both of my fists and punch him back down in his chest. And I say, do not run up on me because I will mop you in this motherfucking house. Because I'm not mama. She guilty about being a dope fiend and abandoning you. I don't give a fuck about your ass. And I'm going to show you that you can't play with me like her. I'm going to fight you like a man. I'm going to show you. Since y'all motherfuckers want me to be a man, I'm going to show you how to do that. And when I punched him in his, I didn't punch him like this. I took both of my fists and said, boom, because he stood up like he was like puffing up. And I know niggas, and I'm young too, so I don't have the emotional intelligence that I have now. And niggas listen to violence. This is the way our culture is. Niggas listen to violence. It's just how it is. It shouldn't be like that, but niggas listen to the violence. A nigga is gonna test you. And honey, I felt like him jumping up, rearing, because he jumped up like, I don't know, like he getting in my face. Nigga, boom. And I punched him, just used my fist and just punched him in the chest. And he fell back down on the couch. And just stood, and I got up on him like, I will mop you in here, I swear to God. And not feel bad about it at all. We'll go at it. Then all you motherfuckers get up out of here. Once I got my tone, once all of that happened, he calmed his ass down. Because I don't know if he was going to whoop me or not. I don't care if he whoop me or not. You going to have to show me, though. You going to have to show me. I ain't going to fight you fair either. I ain't going to fight you fair, and I ain't going to be scared to hurt you. I send you to the hospital. I might not kill you, but I send your punk ass to the hospital. Let's do it. He didn't want to test it. So that happened. So the thing at telling my tea, then this happened. So this embarrassed him in front of his baby mama. Because I got my tranny sister punking me. My little brother is like, my youngest brother is like, man, you might not want to try it. You might not want to try it. It was about to get real dark. So I say, cool. So I go back in my room. he called his father, my little brother. He calls his father and he tells his father what happened. And they go back and they end up, his baby mama and him end up going back to Indiana because he's embarrassed. And he ain't contributing shit. So get the fuck out. It was an awkward. It took him like this week for his daddy to buy him a bus ticket. But that week of him not eating, my little brother had to bring him some white. My little brother worked at Crystal's. I was about to say White Castle. My little brother worked at Crystal's, and my little brother had to bring him some Crystals home. He had to walk from our apartment to my brother's Crystal so he could eat because I was watching that motherfucker. I had put a lock on the fucking refrigerator. I was, oh, you want to play? You don't want to wash no dishes? The fuck? Oh, I'm going to show you how I can play. And it was awkward. His baby mama's embarrassed and hungry. She ready to go home to her people. It was late. It was funny. So fast forward to that same baby mama. Once she has her baby, they going through all kinds of problems back home in Indianapolis, because they go back there. Once she has a baby, they get into it. Something goes crazy wrong. My brother sets a car on fire and runs the car into her house. Crazy. So he goes to prison for a couple of years. And while he's in prison, I end up, during this time is when I moved to Houston. While he's in prison, and I do a video about this. This is one of my old videos. I don't know the name. Brandon, I don't even know how to look at it. Look it up. But it's on here. It's just old. But my brother sends me a letter. And basically in the letter, it's like a one-page letter. And the first half of the letter is saying, I will never accept you as my sister. I will never, basically, you're going to be my big brother forever. Now, this is years after that. So that happened in 2005. This is like 2010. And so in between 2010, I done paid his girlfriends. Now, mind you, I'm in Houston, but because him and his girlfriend, his baby mama, now his baby mama has my first actual nephew. Like, this is my first nephew. This is the first time I'm an auntie. So, you know, the first time you an auntie, you know, you gonna spoil the baby. It's kind of like, I ain't never gonna have no kids. So my brother's children are like, oh, yay. You know what I'm saying? So when she has the baby, she could call me for anything. And I'm gonna be, she can, honey. So there was a situation where they were living somewhere. They were together at the time, but they were having bill problems. And it just was whatever. So they called me, and, you know, I'm a escort. I'm doing my thing. They knew I was, being that they lived with me, they knew I was making money. And so live with me, you know, when we were in Mississippi, they knew how I was hustling. And so he called me and asked me, could he get $200 for his light bill because the baby is here, blah, 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 blah. So I send him $200, send the girl. I was like, I'm not sending it to you. I'm sending it to her, the baby mama. Because apparently they didn't live together at the time. My bad. But they were together but didn't live together. I think either he was locked up. I don't know. I can't remember what happened. But they called me in need. And I told him, I'm not sending it to you, but I'll send it to her. And so she calls me and I send her the money. Then they get into it. That's when the arson thing happened. And he sends me that letter that says, you'll never be my sister. I'll never accept you as that. Blah, blah, blah. That's the beginning of the letter. The end of the letter is, but We still family. Can you send me some money on my books? So my brother clearly is some kind of narcissist. Clearly, it's clearly his brain don't go all the way up to the top floor. Because who in their right mind is gonna tell their transgender sister, I'll never accept you, but send me some money because we family? What? So audacity. So after that, the next time I see I say I'm done dealing with you. Period. So he goes to jail. He gets out of jail. This is 2012. We all go back to Indianapolis because my mom and grandmother live in Indianapolis, and that's when we all go back. So Thanksgiving, we all go back. This is the video. I'm trying to give y'all time context. The video with me and Troy, the trans attracted man, when I have on the blue sweater, we were in my grandmother's house. This is the exact same day. Because he comes down to do record with me the day before Thanksgiving or something like that. Because he was driving back from Chicago to Detroit. And he just dipped down to Indianapolis. Sounds like a cis hetero black male to me. Very typical. And so he comes down. So when we're coming into my grandmother's home. I think that's the one about your brother and letter. When I come home, my brother, the middle one, he's out of jail. He has a new girlfriend named India, who is right now his wife and his new baby mama. I'm sitting down on the couch, and when he comes in the room, he comes over to me and hug. Now, this is after the letter. We have not talked since the letter. He comes over to me and hugs me. It's like, oh my God, I missed you so much. And it's something, my little brothers turn into kids. Like, it's something about me. I know what it is. I'm like their parent. My mom, when my brothers was born, how my mom presented my brothers to me was like, these are your babies too. It wasn't, oh, you're going to have a little brother. Oh, you're going to have a little sibling. It wasn't that. My mother was like, these are your babies too. And just like I got to take care of them, you got to take care of them. Now, there might be some manipulation in this situation. But as a kid, now mind you, my first brother comes when I was the only child until like 7. And so this might be her way of just trying to manipulate me into helping her with the baby. Because she is a single mother. But at 6 years old, that is what she's telling me. These are your babies too. We gotta take care of them. We gotta protect them. We gotta do right for them. So I'm changing diapers. I'm making bottles. I'm doing all the shit that my mama doing for my brothers. So I'm even when my brothers get my mother has when it comes to education, she's really insecure because she didn't graduate from 10th grade. She dropped out in 10th grade. So when it comes to learning shit, when it comes to like sitting down and teaching us stuff, she was kind of like insecure about it. And so I had to teach my brothers how to read and write when they were young. So that's what it is. So imagine this, you come into this world, it's not just your mama, it's your other sibling. That because none of us had our fathers in our life like that. The middle one did, but not in the beginning. He was abusive and horrible. So he didn't really do, and he was kind of patriarchal. So he didn't really do the caretaking stuff. So all my brothers, both of them, they have me and my mom taking care of them when they're little, burping them. So they don't come in the world with just one mama. They do technically, But when my mama is asleep, I'm the one taking care of them. When my mama is tired, I'm the one taking care of them. We're both, or when she just being lazy, I'm the one taking care of them. I'm the one, she didn't want to bathe them. She wanted to bathe them, but not like but sometimes she lazy and sitting there. So she was like, oh, take them in the bathtub and bathe them. So I would be the one doing it. So I'm the one who's taking care of both of my brothers. So when they become adults, when they get around me, the same way they treat my mother is the same way they treat me. They are little jovial kids. I don't care how old they get. My brother is a big 30-something. He's 33. If you saw my brother come in this room, especially my little one, they would turn into 6-year-olds. Like they turn into giddy, playful, lovey-dovey, affectionate. You gotta be like, boy, get off of me. Like they like kissing on you and just being sweet because they're sweet, affectionate boys. And so that's just how they are. So my brother in 2012, he comes in the room and after sending this letter and he's giving this lovey-dovey, brotherly, sisterly, motherly way he is. This is how he is with me. He has always been like this for his whole life. But because of that letter, I'm pissed. I'm somebody who holds grudges. I am somebody who, we gotta address it before I get over the grudge. Okay, that's how I am. Like, at least we gotta address it. Then I can get over it. But if we don't address it, I'm gonna be mad about this shit. And so he lays in my lap, like he comes and hugs and kisses me, and then lays in my lap, like his head in my lap, like talking about his hair, just like Candy. I don't know who is Candy. So lays in my lap and just bees this person. And so I check him. I'm like, this is fake, Tony. He was like, what are you talking about? I was like, do you not remember sending me that letter that said you would never accept me? And he is, and I'm telling this long ass story because the whole point, somebody said, would I let them call me D? So here's where I'm bringing it back around. So the whole time that he's talking to me, he is calling me D. How she remembers everything. Yes, I'm that person. So this whole time he is calling me D. Now, my friends call me D. People in college will call me D. It was Diamond D. Calling me D is not abnormal. So somebody calling me D does not register in my brain as misgendering me or using my dead name. That's nowhere near that. Like, it's just anybody calls me D. So that's nothing. So I didn't think about it. So my little brother is calling me D. Like, he's calling me D. And it's not registering in my mind that he's calling me this. But he's not calling me my dead name, but he's not calling me Diamond. So when I called him fake, he was like, what do you mean? What do you mean I'm fake? And I was like, because this is fake. You sat in that letter and told me that you would never accept me and you'll never do this and blah, 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 blah. And then my little brother tells me that when I'm not around, you have all this kind of pushback. So that's what happened. When other people was affirming me and I'm not around, my middle brother would be like, I'm not accepting that. I'm not accepting that. But in my face, it's lovey-dovey, kissy. So it was pissing me off. So when I check him about it, and I was like, so until you get that together, we not cool. So don't be lovey-dovey, huggy, kissy on me. Because that's fake. And I don't like fake people. But he's stubborn as well. So he was like, oh, well, fuck you then. Cool. I ain't got to talk to you. Okay. So we both are stubborn in that way. So, because he wasn't like, ooh, I'm trying. He was very, I'm trying, but it is what it is. It's very, his way of saying it is what it is. And I'm doing it. You got to give me time. All this kind of weird ass shit. And I was like, I ain't got to give you shit. I ain't got to give you nothing. You ain't my child. So I ain't got to have no grace for you. Get the fuck out of here. And we grown. Now it's fucking 2012. So I'm in my 30s. Child, get out of here. I ain't giving nobody grace about no name and pronoun shit. Fuck out of here. So he calls me one time because I'm not talking to him. And he's calling me. He's telling my mom, why am I not accepting his calls? He telling my brother why I'm not accepting his call. So I answered, this is when this is when Facebook first, very, very first started having video calls. I don't know when that was. When you could call people on the phone, I think. No, not Facebook. Y'all remember Glide? Y'all remember the app called Glide? When Glide was kind of popping. Glide was just popping and new and fresh. Glide. And so he would call me on Glide. And so he called me on Glide, and on the call, he was basically explaining the same thing he explained in the letter, that he feels like he has been radicalized. Basically, he has got into this Marcus Garvey kind of hoteppy circle of information. This is the internet when he can go down these rabbit holes. So he's starting to go down this homophobic, pro-black rabbit hole and conspiracy theories. So he's getting, and remember he went to prison. So that opened up a whole level of conspiracy theory and that kind of pro-black, anti-gay type of situation. So he explains all of this shit. And I'm like, dude. Now, this is problematic of me. But I'm like, boy, are you really trying to intellectualize with me? You got a whole learning disability. Now, mind you, I'm young. I don't have the politics that I have now. And this was ableist as fuck. But in the moment, it was pissing me off. So I wouldn't have said this now. But back then, I'm like, nigga, you dumb as a box of rocks. Don't be trying to intellectualize homosexuality using thoughts of cisgender men of the past to be negative to me, nigga. I done fucking lost sleep to feed you and bathe you, and nigga, get the fuck out of here. Like, it was pissing me off. Like, it was really, really pissing me off. And so he says, I don't understand why you don't see my progress. And I was like, what is your progress? And he was like, I don't call you your old name. I call you D. And I was like, what? And he was like, I don't call you your old name, but I'm not calling you no Diamond because that's not what mama named you. Mama named you this, but I'll call you D. And you should accept that. Oh, so you don't call me Diamond as a way to rebel against calling me my name. And you have accepted the compromise of calling me D as a way of not calling me my old name, but calling me this middle ground name. Oh, then you don't get to talk to me at all. If now that I know that, I have a problem with you calling me D. Now that I know why you call me D, I have a problem with you calling me D. Now that I know your reasoning, now it's a problem. Before it wasn't, because it was just like everybody else calling me D. But now I know you're only not calling me Diamond because you don't want to accept Diamond. That's a problem for me. Because now you only can call me Diamond. That's the only thing I'm going to accept from you. if you want me in your life. If not, we ain't got to talk at all. And for years, I didn't talk to my brother. I think that was 2012. I didn't talk to my brother. No, that had to be like 2010 or 11. I don't know. It was no later than 2012. But I didn't talk to my brother until my mom died in 2020. Late 2020, right before it switched to 21. So almost 10 years. Diamond, Audacity, and Rakim. So after we got off that phone call, I blocked him. Now I've had the same number since 2002. Yep, I've had the same number since 2002. So I had to block him. But anytime he got a new number, he would text me, and I would block that number. Like, I would not talk to him. We would not have. I was done. By that point, I was like, oh, cool. And I was still going to be done. When my mom passed, the only reason why I talked to him is because my mom died. So even though I'm paying for it, I want y'all to have some type of say in what's happening. And so we deal with that. And that was my long way of explaining why D is not acceptable with my brother. D is acceptable with other people. Right. So that's always been the for him, no. But somebody calling me D, I don't really think about it, except with him. But it's all about the context. It's all about the context that you use it. And so bottom line, language is important. Language is really important. And it's important to everybody. But yes, we started back talking when my mom passed, and because he went out of his way to apologize, and we really sat down and just kind of hashed out everything about our past and where we wanted to go in the future. And his mindset now, at the time that my mom passed, is I want you in my life, and whatever I said in the past, I apologize, and whatever I need to do to fix this and make it right, I want to do it. So can we move forward? I got a lot to learn, but I want to learn it. And, it opens up the door for forgiveness. It opened up the door for me to have conversation with him, because prior we couldn't even have learning conversations because you couldn't even get past the name and the pronouns. So I would just hang up. Like, no, I'm not playing with you. It's not a game. Like, we couldn't even get past we couldn't even get to where I'm teaching him, where I'm teaching him about trans. We couldn't even get to trans 101 because, honey, he was fucking up the the remedial shit. We couldn't even get to the 101. These vitamins are so fire. They make me feel so like full. Like they suppress my appetite a little bit. You are his connecting to your mother now. I'm glad you clocked that, Brandon, because that is also uh um a um a narcissistic manipulation type of thing. Like you only after 10 years, only when my mom passes when you feel the need to um make amends. If my mom wouldn't have passed, he wouldn't have made amends. Because him and my mom used to have conversation too. It's going to make people ask a lot of trans questions. I'm an educator. I'm okay with asking. And even now, my brother slides in my DM about trans questions, 101 shit, even gay shit all the time. So we are at the stage where he's literally coming to me asking about queer stuff, like shit he don't understand. Basic shit that we could have got out of the way 10 years ago. But he's stuck in time. And so, but it's because, now he also is sending me pictures of his kids, videos of his kids first walking, stuff that he would do to my mom prior to her dying. And so even that to me is not about me. I don't think it's about me. It's about my mom. He was grieving my mom. So I don't even think the apology and all of that was about caring for Diamond. I really do feel like it is for him. And that's okay. However you get to where you need to be, cool. But I don't think it was about me. I think it was about him because he's a narcissist. And his wife, her family is close and his family is not. So he wants to be able to even pretend that we're close. But yes, anyway, that's the end. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about the Monique thing for you to understand, for y'all to understand. Language is important. Correction is grace. I've written off my brothers, but I'm glad me and Giovanna have a better connection and nothing traumatic or detrimental has happened to initiate that. That's good. What about you and Latino? Do he live in Mississippi? No, he lives in Indianapolis still. None. I don't have any more family, even my older ones. I don't have any more family in Mississippi no more. My grandfather passed away. All my older great aunts have passed away. My aunt, she lives in New Orleans. Like my aunt Georgia, she lives in New Orleans. Her kids live in New Orleans. Um, my grandmother and my mom passed away, so I don't even have. Only person left that I'm close to in Indianapolis is my aunt Joe. Um, yeah, I don't have any more connections to Mississippi as far as family. Everybody, I'm trying to think that I have a reference to. Yeah, that's it. I don't have no. They all passed away. You said your cousin that told your tea at the club. Did she pass? Yes. Bonnie Louise passed of she went into a diabetic coma because she was always big, but she started to go blind. Whatever. What's the thing? Is it diabetes that make you go blind? What's the one that make you go blind? I can't remember. Whatever the um one of them make you go blind. I can't remember. But yeah, she started to go blind because I think she was diabetes. Yes, and so then she went into a diabetic coma, and then she died. Her children are still there. Her daughter, Sweeta, passed away. So only her son is still there. But I really, because he was a boy, didn't get close to him. Um, but he hits me up. Like he hits me up on we friends on Facebook. So yeah, he's in Mississippi. But I'm not close to any of these people. When I was in Mississippi, he was like a kid, like 9. He was a sweet little boy, but we wasn't close. Um, but yeah, everybody done passed away. Everybody old. That's my baby. She likes how Rakim is with you to me. That's what's up. She kind of been the one trying to pull me and Javonda together. Oh, that's good. But yeah, you and Javonna's situation is so interesting because when me and Javonna was in school together, she just was really adamant about me knowing that you were her sibling. Like she like in a proud way, not in a not in a weird way, just in a proud way. So it's interesting that she's the one that would need the pool. It would feel like it would be opposite. Do you ever go back to Mississippi? You worked at the chicken plant. Did you have other jobs? I worked at the chicken plant. Then I worked at in Mississippi. Did I have other jobs in Mississippi? No, when I was in college, I had a work study job, but I didn't have no job like at a place. I worked at this. I was a RA. Um, but when I moved back to Mississippi, I was an escort. I didn't have any kind of job. I was just hoeing, turning these tricks. So no, I never had a job other than the hatchery at the chicken plant. Well, I wasn't at the plant. I was at the hatchery. I didn't work. I never worked at a chicken plant. I worked at the I worked at the Tyson hatchery, which is where they hatch the chickens. The chicken plant is where they process the chickens. um, but yeah, the whole time I was in Mississippi, the second time, like before I came to Houston, I was an escort. The coins were love. That's back in the day when, honey, the coins was love and escorting. um, yeah. Well, you described that job with the chickens. Yes, child. That was a late job. Hey, Nova. Um, but actually, I actually like Mississippi. I actually do. Yeah, they are conservative and blah blah blah. But what y'all, this is what kind of I don't want to say it pisses me off, but it kind of is it frustrates me for people who are not from the South. So y'all look at the South through the lens of white people. If you're not from the South, you look at the lens of the South through the lens of white people. So like when I go to California or I go to New York or I go to somewhere that's not the South and I say I'm from Texas, they like, oh my God, you're from Texas? Oh, because you are looking at it from the lens of Greg Abbott, from the lens of the white people who are conservative, who dominate the politics. But you're not looking at it from the lens of black people. Houston, Texas has the most black people of any city in the United States. minus DC, because DC is chocolate city. But if they counted the whole area, we would beat them comparatively in regards to percentage. The South has the most black people of all the regions, of the West Coast, of the East Coast, of North. Look at each state and the percentage of black people. We are in the 20s and 30s, mid to high 20s to low 30s of percentage of black people. Most of y'all are in the 13, 10, 5. Y'all are in the low range of black people when it comes to percentage of black people in your state. If you are not in the South, more than likely you have a number let in the teens or the lower than that when it comes to the percentage of black people. So what that does, if you look at it from the lens of black people, it is tons of black culture and black community in the South. So we don't even have to engage with racist white people. Yes, we know they're somewhere around, but I only go to black spots. I only go to places. Yeah, I go to some places that, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm talking about like clubs and shit. I'm going to clubs that play my music. I'm going to spots and lounges that play my music, that cater to my people. So I don't even, I haven't been around no racist white people in Texas or in Mississippi or anywhere most of the time. When I was in Mississippi, I was at Jackson State. Blackity, 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 black. I was living off of Robinson Road in Glen Oaks. Blackity, 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 black. Off of Terry Road. Blackity, 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 black. Jackson's mayor has been black for decades. Black people have been controlling Jackson for a lot, the politics of Jackson. We have had Sheila Jackson Lee as our congresswoman. We had one of the first black Congress people was Barbara Jordan? In Texas. She from Texas. There are tons of black people. And so you can't look at these red states. And we so close to being purple. You know how Georgia flipped blue? Texas is so close to that. Like, we keep creeping closer and closer and closer to it. And all the cities are blue. They have to keep redistricting to stop us from turning the state blue. Yeah. Now, that don't mean that the outskirts, like the rural area, yeah, you gonna probably see some Ku Klux Klan members, baby. But in the city, they don't be fucking with you like that. They don't be acting like that. There's tons of black people, tons of black culture, tons of black history, tons of everything black. Like, you don't even have to be a part of anything that involves white people or conservatives. I'm more likely to come across a conservative, weird Latinx person than I am a white person. Now, I do live on the outskirts of a bougie area called River Oaks. So sometimes you'll have them like bougie classes, white people. Where it's not just racism. It really ain't racism. It's classism that they don't like you for. Tia, when I see white people in local grocery stores, I stare because what are y'all doing here? Yeah, because you in the DMV. It's a tons of black people there. That's the closest up north place. Well, I know y'all think y'all the South. There was this debate online that I saw a month ago where North Carolina, they were saying North Carolina and Virginia and them wasn't the South. I'm like, North Carolina is the South, sweetie. I don't consider DC and like Maryland. I know old school maps, north the Dixon line, that was considered the South. I know the history of that, but I don't consider DC the South. I consider it East Coast. Like I don't consider that the South. I consider Virginia the South. I consider North Carolina the South. I consider, and I know Virginia is right there, but somebody saying North Carolina is not the South, get your ass out of here. Definitely the South. I would play with the idea of Virginia, maybe, but it's hard to, honey, they have so much roots in Southern. I consider Virginia down the South. Um, I just learned to bake pound cakes. Work. um, yeah, I don't consider the DMV. I consider that the bottom of the East Coast. All of this is East Coast. I feel all, all of the, Georgia got an East Coast line too, but of course Georgia the South. But anything from Arlington up, I consider the East Coast. Like anything up there, from Arlington, Virginia to fucking Maine, I consider that the East Coast. Bottom of the Northeast. Yeah, basically. It's pretty blended here, and most all are kind of immersed in Black culture. Yes, we got Africans. We got the most Vietnamese and the most Africans. I'm sorry, most Nigerians in our city. Like outside of Nigeria, outside of Vietnam, we have the most in the country here in Houston. Vietnamese and Nigerians. In the same way, San Francisco has the most Chinese. So it is 3 or 4 generations of Africans here, 3 or 4 generations of Vietnamese people here. Yeah, it's just so much culture here that dismissing it because you hear these crazy politics is similar to like Florida. Like Florida has tons of Haitians. Um, now we know the Cubans they want to be white. They don't like being POC at all, honey. They're like, I'm white. I don't know what you're talking about. Unless they dark. Then it's like, oh, I can't be white. The Cubans is crazy, but it's tons of Haitians in Florida. It's tons of Black people in Florida that don't fuck with Florida politics. Jersey has the most Indians. Are we talking about natives or South Asians? I never know nowadays what people be talking about. When you say Indians, are you talking about natives or are you talking about South Asians? From India. Gotcha. Thank you. And Jersey is just a huge suburb of New York City. Yes, I consider, I know it's technically different, but if you tell me you from Jersey, you from New York. Jersey should be just another borough of fucking New York City. Yeah, River Oaks is the inner city bougie area. There's tons of bougie outside areas like Spring, Tomball, Cypress, Katy, Rosenberg, Sugarland, Pearland, Friendswood, Clear Lake, Baytown, Beaumont. All that's kind of like, I don't want to say bougie, but that's kind of like the suburbs. The bougie area of Houston is River Oaks. New Jersey is a huge state. Yes, it is. I consider not New Jersey, Newark. Newark. That's what I consider Newark a borough of New York. My parents moved to Tampa. I hate it for them. Yes, I see it through a black lens. I can't stand their politics. What else? And if you date men, y'all missing out on some good dick. If you're not fucking with no niggas from rural South, like the rural parts of Georgia, the rural parts of Mississippi, the rural parts of Alabama, there's some good black dick out in those areas. And they super nice. Now, if you're trying to be in a relationship with them, then you gotta be careful because they don't mind putting their hands on you. Not saying that don't happen everywhere else, but you gotta watch it. But they're gonna pay for everything. They're gonna pay for all the bills. They're gonna pay for all the dates. You ain't gotta worry about them giving you any kind of pushback on what they're supposed to do as a man because they raised to do that. And it be some good country dick slanging. I got people in Pearland, I think. Is the place outside of Houston. I think it's the place. Yes, Pearland is right out of Houston. Pearland is pretty. Like when you're going down the highway in Pearland, their little lights got pears on top of them. It's super cute. I love living in Jersey. People hate Camden, but I love living there as a kid and visiting back as an adult. It was too much. That was the closest thing to the Tenderloin outside of the Tenderloin. Everybody looked like dope fiends. Now I wasn't in Camden. I was in where was I at? I was in Irving. Hello, Norma. Yeah, it was too dirty for me. It was black as fuck. Like Baltimore. Baltimore was black as fuck. But it was too dirty. I was like, I can't. Been here, done that. They say in Alabama. I don't know. Fort Lauderdale, New Orleans, Philly, Kentucky are my favorite for the trade. My favorite for men, number one is going to be New Orleans. I love New Orleans men. It is something about them that is just mesmerizing to me. Um, yeah, New Orleans are my tea. I do like DC and Philly men. I don't like New York men or Boston men. But DC and Philly men is something about them that I like. They have the East Coast swag without the arrogance of a New York nigga. I hate New York men. Oh, I hate them. Ugh. I hate New York men. New Orleans, DC, and Memphis. Cincinnati, Memphis, New Orleans, DC, Philly. Yes. I don't like Atlanta. I don't like anything in California except for San Diego. San Diego men treat me like a queen. I love San Diego men. Um, of course, Texas. That's why I moved to Houston because Houston fire. Um, Girl, you've been traveling. I am international, baby. I also like French boys. French black boys are the best. I do not like London men. How about Chicago? So, interesting thing about Chicago. I used to love Chicago dudes, but it was because Chicago is 2 hours away from Indianapolis. When I was in high school, we would go to Chicago and hang out and pull the trade. So Chicago reminds me of my hometown boys. They don't remind me of like new. So anything like Detroit, Indianapolis, Chicago, even St. Louis. I like St. Louis men too, but anything in that area like Indianapolis, Detroit, Chicago, Cleveland, they remind me of my hometown trade. So I'm used to them. So they don't do nothing like exciting. I'm kind of getting like that with Texas men too, because I've been here for 16 years. Damn. Is it right? 16? Mm-hmm. 17 years. This year will be 17. Hartford and Delaware get me going. San Diego, man, everybody is beautiful. That gagged me. Chicago gives me dirty dick trade every time. um, I had a good set. Well, no, he was from Philly. Yeah, I like Philly boys. It's probably the longest you've been in now. No, still Indianapolis. This year will tie Indianapolis. This year will tie Indianapolis. So next year will be where I've been in Houston the longest of any city in my life. North Dakota, man. I don't even know what they give. I don't know nothing about them. I remember this dude that was in college in North Dakota that I met online. He was fine, but he was from Houston and he moved back when he graduated. Chicago is like the full spectrum of Hami trade. Definitely. Definitely. Especially on the south side. You got to go to on the north side to really get a little bit better quality in Chicago. Northwest. Y'all like these? These are so good. Parm crisp for cheese. They're like crispy cheese things. love these. I've been gone all day, so I haven't been able to eat a meal. So I got up. I went to see Cornel West. If he come to y'all city, go listen to him. He's entertaining, and he's trans inclusive, which is a good thing. Do you go to your high school reunions? The one that I was gonna go to, something else big was happening. Oh, they are good on salads. I love them on salads. They're much better than croutons. Um, when I my what anniversary? My 20-year anniversary? My 10-year anniversary? I don't know. I always had something to do, child. I'm either broke or I got something to do. This year is my 25-year anniversary. It's the 25-year of me graduating and the 25-year anniversary of me suing my high school. So I'm trying to get something together so I can do with ACLU an event, some type of event in Indianapolis for that. Yes, they are keto. Water and keto. And fucking protein. I had some fire ass chicken yesterday. It was so good. Because I'm finally under 280. I have been stuck at 280 something. Like I lost a bunch of weight and then got to like 280. And then I just was kind of teetering back and forth between 288, 285, 288, 285, 289, 285, 286. I kept staying there. And so recently I just got under 280. I was 279. So I think it was like, I don't know what was happening, but it had plateaued a little bit and now it's going down again. And it was like, I'm at this on the 2nd of February, I hit 6 months post surgery. And it's and they say you're supposed to be 50% down of your excess weight. And if that's the case, then I should be getting to give yourself grace. Them titties are at least 40 pounds a day. Definitely. What's crazy is like I'm about to have to throw some of my clothes away. Shit that I really like. I'm taking to the fucking place and getting it taken in because I paid too much fucking money for certain pieces, so I ain't throwing them away. But certain things like my belts, I can't I'm starting to not be able to use them no more, which is a good thing, but I'm gonna have to get rid of some shit. So working. It's definitely getting the bitch down. She is wasting away. Did you have those nice couches when Brandon lived there? I had a nice couch when Brandon lived here, but Brandon broke my couch. So I had to buy this blue one because he broke my couch. Which is he's not the first person. Kristen broke my other couch. Every time I have somebody live with me, because I only have one bedroom, they have to sleep on the couch. They always break my couch. So Kristen broke the other one because she was sleeping on it. Brandon broke the replacement of that one, and then this one is cool because I don't sleep on it. But yes, and somebody's always breaking my couch. My homegirl, when I lived on the north side of Houston, one of my plus size homegirls came and fucking sat on my couch and broke that whole fucking couch down and sat there in the hole that the bitch made and um, didn't tell us that she fucking broke it until she gets up and leave and we go over to the fucking seat and it's fucking broke. So annoying. He broke my bed in my guest room from sex. He had to buy a new guest bedroom set. Yeah. So will you and Ty ever do a video again? I remember when you had Entrance Heart. We was doing them videos because we lived together and it was easier to do. Um, I'm pretty sure she'll be in a video. It just depends on what we're doing. And Boo broke the first one. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. um, but yeah, she was in my clowns video. That's the recently when she was rapping. We just did that. She was in that video. But yeah, we just living our life now. She sat there all night. She did. Didn't tell us nothing. So annoying. So broke it to the floor. Yes. Imagine sitting on the couch and the part where your booty go all the way down to the floor. That's how she broke it. Yeah, she didn't want us to know she broke it because she was embarrassed. And none of us, she was the only one of us that was big at the time. So yeah. Down to the fucking floor. And I didn't understand at the time, because I was young. I didn't have, I didn't think about fat phobia and how that kind of plays out. I was just pissed that she broke it and didn't tell me. Um, but all the rest of us was skinny at the time. And so she was like, shit, 400 pounds. Will you ever finish the Pose episodes on Marsha's Plate? I love them episodes. And you singing Love Hangover. So I recorded them. I recorded the post episodes, but but for whatever reason, the episodes that we recorded out of that, I don't know where I put them. I don't know what file I put them in. I don't really know. They were on my other laptop, and I can't really find them. So I don't know where they are. But if I find them, I will post them. Yeah, I don't know where they are. Yeah, I wanted to do we recorded it, me and Tim, but Tim yeah, we record. I think the last one that I had it that I was trying to edit was the one when Praytel went back home to his parents and he was talking. We didn't get to talk about when Praytel was talking about his pastor that he was having the affair with. I think that's the last one we did, either before that or right after that. I can't remember. But yeah, I done lost the file, so I wasn't able to do it. Mm-mm. Smell the womanhood. Smell the womanhood. Yeah. I wonder what's going on with Boo. I know she was going blind too. I wonder what's going on with her. I would go holler at her if I knew, if she wasn't so weird. Extra doll, baby. Well, it has been 3 hours, y'all. Make sure y'all thumbed up. It is 32 people. If y'all are still here and you haven't thumbs up, thumbs up. And I will chat with y'all. I haven't been watching anything. I have. I've been watching Has Been Hotel, which is a cartoon. It's kind of adult cartoon, which is funny. It's on Amazon Prime. I don't think I'm gonna talk about it, but it's a really, really good show, creative show. There's a character on there called Angel Dust. He's a gay demon, and he is like, I feel like his story is quite triggering. Like it's funny, like the show is funny, but it hits some points that's like, ooh, this is kind of triggering. She's completely blind now. Who is taking care of her? Now she's completely blind and doing dates. Oh, Lord. Baby, the way I would be living off of my motherfucking disability check, child, I would not be turning no dates, honey. Um, yeah, it's some moments that's like dope. It's like the main character is this lesbian in the cartoon. She is the Lucifer's daughter. She's like the princess of hell, and she's trying to rehabilitate. The whole premise of the show is she owns this hotel and she want to turn her hotel into like a place where demons go to get rehabilitated and get a second chance, and and then she wants to convince heaven to let them get a second chance to come back to heaven. So the whole scene, the whole show is set in hell, and a bunch of demons like doing demon shit. But she's trying to rehabilitate them and prove to angels that prove to heaven that they are good people and can be rehabilitated, which is kind of dope. I don't know. Watch it. It's really good. I love that. It's called Has Been Hotel. HAZBIN Hotel Has Been. What else have I been watching? Um, I started Griselda. Is that how you say that name? Griselda on Netflix. I started that. What else? Yeah, those are two things that I've been watching. Only got to the second episode of Griselda. I haven't finished it, so I don't have no opinion. But Has Been is good. But all right, y'all. I'm about to get off of here because it's getting late and I'm about to go to sleep because I have to celebrate that I got my podcast fiscally sponsored. Yes. Now I got a plan on all the grant writing that I'm going to do for it. And I'm excited about it. Excited about the work, excited about what we can do. We'll see. But yeah, I will chat with y'all next week. Well, I don't know if it'll be next Friday because I'll be in Arizona. I think I'll be in Arizona. Yeah, I'll be in Arizona next Friday. What is that? Huh? Ooh, what is going on? What is this? Oh, I don't know what just happened. It just deleted my whole. Oh no, what just happened, man? Hmm. But all right, I will see y'all later. Be good. Thank you.